Hello, Internet. I'm Matt Haas. You're watching the Awesome Wood Things channel. This is another Learn Adobe Now session, and I am thrilled to have you here. I love my line art people. Line art rules, JPEGs drool. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I am super excited because I am at a major milestone in my making journey. I said before that I finished my office desk. You can kind of see some of it in the background there. Super happy with it. It's a 7-foot section, 6-foot something section the other way, and then a corner piece. The legs are set back, no obstructions. You can get on your roller chair and slide from one end to the other without bashing your knees, and I love it. So what I'm going to do during this session is build some plans and documentation. So we'll see how to work with documents and get it all looking nice. And I have to recalculate the way the inner core is constructed because I used a torsion box. But I did it the hard way. I didn't really know it was a torsion box. I just went with what I thought would look good. But what I did, and you'll see, I just butted up the different members. What I should have done is done the half lap joints and locked everything in place. So I'm going to redo my plans and do some calculations, figure that all out. And then I'm going to get them looking good so I can distribute them and have them not look like garbage. And of course, I'm going to use Adobe Illustrator. Who do we have in the chat? I think I see Al. Hello, Al. Welcome, welcome. All right. And I bought new blinds. These blinds don't have the little cord in them. You just lift them up and they go up, and you pull them down and they go down. But these laser beams of death are still hitting me. And they're not blackout either, so you can see the reflections in the glasses. So I'm getting this environment tweaked, and it's almost where I want it. Getting better. The new desk really, really helps. All right. Let's take a look at the screen. All right, so here I have in real size the build of the desk. So this is a huge document. This is about the 12-foot by 12-foot document, and it even kind of falls off the page. I just hit select all. Yeah, can't quite fit it all on there, but that's okay. I can make the document larger. But this is the construction of the desk itself. So I made these little strips and I just butted them up. I made sure everything was 90 degrees, and I made sure everything was clamped. So when I joined them together, there were no extra spaces, because a little space here and a little space there and here and here and here and here, they could all add up. And also, when I built this, my thinking was everything's cut super accurately. I made sure everything was dialed in exactly the way that I had them here. And that if I did that and made sure everything was 90 degrees, things would naturally square up. But that was not the case. This whole thing was bowed a little bit. So it rose off, you know, it bent. So what I did is, before I put the backer on, I clamped it down to a flat surface and brought it back into square, and then put a full sheet, you know, the size of the desk, of hardboard on one side and plywood on the other, plywood on the top side, and then glued, and Brad nailed it in, and then it couldn't bow back. But if I would have had that half lap feature that would have really saved me. And I didn't. I didn't have the half lap feature. And that's no good. So here what we'll do is I'll reconfigure this to do that, and we'll show you how that's done. Okay, so first of all, I like how this herringbone pattern is. The herringbone pattern provides a lot of strength. So this outer piece, and this is all 3/4 inch plywood, and you're looking down at the top. Hey, Dave's here. Hi, Dave. What I'm doing today is teaching you how to make good-looking woodworking plans to distribute, because you need to put your best foot forward and make some awesome woodworking plans. So I'm dealing with the desk that I built, and I need to reconfigure it. This is a top-down view of 3/4 inch plywood, and this is how I built the inner core of a desk. I put hardboard on the bottom, plywood on the top, and then a white laminate on top of the plywood, and made a super strong and lightweight desk, because you can see most of it has a hollow core. But I want to do a half lap. So I'm going to reconfigure that now, and I'm going to show you how I did this. This is a real size. So if I take an object and just kind of snap to these points, you can see that, where's my information box? Oh, yeah, there it is. So it's height 25.5. It's actually 20. I overshot it a little bit here. Darn it. Pop this down. There we go. That should say 25.5. Yeah, see, 25.5. So this is a real size document. It's about 12 foot by 12 foot. So let's get this going here. So I want to get rid of these little tiny members, because that was a very inefficient way to build this desk. So I'm just going to copy this one over, just arbitrarily place it somewhere. And then I'm going to shift click the anchors, come all the way down, shift click these and go all the way up. All right, so now I have what can begin to be a half lap. So now let's visualize this. Take this over here just to work on it. Let's visualize this as laying it flat. Now these were 1.5 inches thick. Now remember, this is top down, so you know you're going into the thing. So let me just take this and move that 1.5 inches. Now I snapped it directly over top of the other one. So now I'll do Command Shift M or Control Shift M on Windows, and I'll go 1.5 inches. Okay. Now that reads 1.5 inches. So if I laid, oh, Al's back. Hello, Al. So now what I have is I have my member laying on its side, and here I have a top-down view. But what I want to do in my woodworking plans is describe where these notches would go. So what I can do is bring this over, and then I need to get that centered on here. So can you see how that is the type of notch I want? 3/4 inch notch on one side and a 3/4 inch notch on the other side. Ding, 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 1.5. So let's break out some of the tools that we've worked with before. I love me some Pathfinder stuff. And I will, let's make this a solid, just so we can play along. And guess what color solid I'm going to use? You guessed it, magenta. I love working in magenta. I do not like the color magenta, but I like to work in the color magenta. Magenta is just a very garish color, and you can't ignore it. So I like to work in, oh God, look at these dots now. Sun! I want the earth to spin more so I don't get hit in the face with sun rays. Okay, so use magenta when you're working in Adobe Illustrator, but don't publish live artwork in magenta because it's too ugly. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll go back to my gosh, I hope my mouse doesn't stop working. I'll go to divide. Boom. All right. Now I have all these as separate pieces. Now this is pretty advanced. What I'm going to do, I have my direct selection tool out, and I'm going to press the Alt key or Option on Mac. So Alt or Option, and then I'm going to click, and this is going to deselect this one. There we go. Now that that's deselected, I can hit the delete key on the keyboard. Boom. There they go. Now that should work out perfectly. Oh, but you know what? It won't. It won't work out perfectly because I forgot the top and the bottom one. Let me add those. Take this here. Oops. That up there. Okay. Harneal Media's here. Hi, Steve. Steve Nealon from Harneal Media. I am working on some woodworking plans to go along with my flagship video of my woodworking desk build. Well, it's a computer desk build in my woodworking shop. 6 months it took me to build that sucker, and I'm finally getting the video ready. And you'll be happy to know, not only is the video is done, it is completely done. It's rendered and it's uploaded to YouTube. All the metadata is in there, all of the closed captioning, which I did by hand, and it's a 12-minute, 13-second video. And you know, I don't make short. I mean, I don't make long videos. I like them short, but this was a lot of steps. And so what I'm going to do is build an Instructable and get that going. And so I'll need 1 or 2 days to do the Instructable. And I want to build like a mini Instructable on Imager, or that IMGUR site, however you say that. And then I just want to post it on Reddit, have the Imager link, have it on Instructables, and then unleash the video, and then turn everything on, and then have traffic hit YouTube from every direction. Oops. And of course, I'll promote it on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So, and I want to have woodworking plans, and that's what I'm working on now, woodworking plans. So I'm using Adobe Illustrator, recalculating. Steve, I talked to you the other day. I want to do the half lap, and I'm doing that too. So should be fun. I just started. All right, so now make sure you post it in the MMN subreddit. You got it. I will do that. See, I'm hoping I'll survive the DIY subreddit, because that's where Paul Jackman plays a lot, and he's figured some things out. So I'm hoping they'll like me over there. I don't know if they will or not, but he seems to do really well there, and I don't presume that I will either, because I'm by no means. But does this look farther left to you? Does not look. No, it's dead on. Okay, never mind. All right, so now I'm going to take these notches out. So I'll repeat this process again. And this is kind of good that you came in here, Steve. And I'll hit my divide, break out my direct selection tool, shift click that. Now that's deselected and those are selected. And I can rip these out of there. Oh, rip those out too. So now this is what I can tell the woodworkers to make. And this is the piece laying on the side. Steve, just to follow along, this is a top-down view of 3/4 inch plywood. And this is how I did it. And I'm redoing it like this. And I want this to be end laps and half laps. And that would be that member on the side. So I could tell people to make a strip of wood 1.5 by 27, because this is a 1-to-1 document. So this is actually 27 inches from there to there. And then I can have them dado out these. Now I would have to do the same for these members. I'll do that next. Yeah, Steve says the DIY subreddit is a difficult one, or he says a tough one. But are there any other subreddits I should consider? DIY is a weird one because, you know, don't some people think that DIY, God, look at this is crazy. Don't some people think DIY is more like house building, you know, putting in stairs and working on construction? Is that DIY, or is like tinkering with stuff in the wood shop DIY? Is furniture building DIY? I mean, I'm not hip to all the terms. You won't need quite as many cross braces using half lap joints. Well, that's good to know, because I was worried that I would exhaust my sheet of plywood, because this is a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and this is how I started. I cut this little piece off the plywood here because this is the longest I'll need, and then I cut all these into strips. There were 28 1.5 inch strips, and with the kerf and everything, I got 28 out of those. And then now that I'm doing it a little different, I'm thinking I'm going to hog up more material. I hope that's not the case. Okay, so I just used Pathfinder to make this, and now let's see how many I want. Now here's an interesting design feature. The Steve says it's a tough subreddit to break into. Okay, so I got some research to do. Here is where I tripled up the members here, because that's where the leg sits. So I don't have the leg all the way to the end of this rectangle member here, because when you're sitting here at your desk, this is where my chair is and my computer screen is here, you would bash your knees, even though the legs are set back a little bit, but they're still kind of close. So yeah, I like that, because I wasn't sure where I was going to throw in the screws to screw the legs to the desk surface. So I'm just like, I'm tripling these up, and no matter where I drive that screw, I'm going to land in the wood. That's the way I tend to build. I overbuild, baby. All right, so let's see, 74.5 inches, and the whole thing is 77.5. That is darn near 7 feet. So I guess the question is, how many members in this direction do I need on a 7-foot span? Well, if I did 1 a foot, there would be 6. Let's just play along here. So let's start. here. Go over here. Oh, this is a fun little thing I like to do. Oh man, this is old school. Blend. Use the blend tool. This guy. This was out in the very first version. So you have two objects. You have them both highlighted, and you click one anchor, and you click the other anchor, and then it fills them in. But I think there's a way you could specify, yeah, how many you need. Specified steps. There we go. To make a real torsion box, you make the squares as close to even as possible. Oh, there you go. Okay. So then let's do that. Let's get this measurement. That's almost 5 inches. So I could say every 5 inches. Boy, that would be a strong box. Okay, so let's do that. So we'll start here. Let's start there, and then we'll go 5 inches. So I'll go move, and that was Command-Shift-M, move 5 inches positive, and I'll copy. So most people just hit this default OK, and it just moves it. But you hit copy, and there it is. Oh, see that's 5 inches gap. It's not 5 inches on center. Or is it 5 inches on center? Approximately 8 or 9 inches would make sense for the desk. Yeah, 5's not enough. So let's do this. Yeah, that is on center. So I'll go 9 inches. Copy. And then once I love Command D because that's transform again. Forget where it is. Maybe it'll blink. So Command D, and it transforms again. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. And do it. Highlight Command D. There we go. That's every 9 inches. That's not bad. What do I have left over here? About 1 inch. I wonder what that distance is. Let's draw a little box. Yeah, a little more than 1 inch. All right, we'll go with that. So that's 9 inches. Really like to close. This really needs to be over here, though. I'd like it to be right there. That's where it should be. Oh, but you know what? I'll triple this one up. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll take this one and triple it. Command D. There we go. So now it's 9 inches on center till it gets to here. And then this is going to be a little, what is that one? This text. Go away. I wonder what that distance is. Let's find out. I'll just go from center to center. That might be difficult. I'll just go from end to end. It'll be the same. 9 1/4. That's not bad. With 9 inch, you would need 2 center long braces. I've got 3 center long braces and 1 on the top and the bottom. So there wouldn't be squares. They would be. Here, let me get rid of these. Highlight, shift these, delete, delete. unshift, delete those. You know, this is probably hard to see. Recolor some of this stuff. There we go. That might be better for the screen share. So now what we got going on. Get that one the same. That's tripled up. There we go. Now let's see what we got. Yeah. So this is the crisscross pattern. Not a square, but that should be plenty strong. Plenty strong. Oh, I overshot it. It needs to go that way. Yeah, there we go. I could live with that. I could definitely live with that. Okay, so now, let me color these two just so we follow our color scheme. Using my eyedropper here. Bloop. All right, so this is the side view of all of these. Got it? So now let's make a side view of this guy. I'll select all of these and this person. Bring this down where I can work on it. Although there's not much space to really work on this stuff. Because my document's so big. I like big documents and I cannot lie. All right. So we will make this 1.5 because we're going to visualize this on the side now. Command-Shift-M. -1.5, and I already have inches set as my default measurement. Boom. Okay, now I have to nest this down 3/4 of an inch. So I will go positive 0.75 inches, just like that. And now let me think about this. I think that will work. And then I will use my handy divide. Uh-oh. Did that happen? Undo. Oh, look, there's something here. What? The guide. Get rid of those guides. Be gone, guides. Okay, so now divide. Shift click with the direct selection tool. Now that piece is unselected and everything else is selected because these are separate pieces. This little guy in the middle, see that? He's its own little piece. But selection is, you know, drawing's one thing, selecting is another in Illustrator. And you've got to get good at selecting. Don't think, oh, I'm an artist, I don't really have to focus. No, you need to know how to select stuff. So now, will this fit into that? I guess it would if it was this way, right? But you really just can't visualize this, can you? So in this sense, this would be the top, and that would be the top. Then these would fit in with each other. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that. So I would need 3 of these, you know, one for here, one for here, and one for here. Now these are a little different because this one's a tad bit longer. Yeah, see how these top ones? This should really be on the bottom. Let me pull back. Yeah, see how these shoot out, but this one's even longer. So I have to make 2 more that are just this, that has, see how that's 3/4 of an inch longer than this one. Let me do that. Bring this down. It's going to shift drag through these two. So now only those 2 anchors are selected. I'll break out my move tool, Command Shift M, and I will move that 0.75 inches. Forget which way it's positive. Positive to the right. Yes. And then I'll do the same over here. The only one that's selected. Yep. Yep, these are the only 2 selected. And then Command Shift M. And then I will do negative. There we go. Now these 2 can be the ends. So now I have defined, let's change these a different color. What color do we want? Purple? Ugh, God, this is way too green. Boy, that's ugly. Okay, so, and you know what? Let's make these 50% fill so we can see how these overlap. So I will go to transparency. Here we go. 50%. And now let me highlight this. Oh, this is fun. Select, same, fill color. Boom. Everything's selected that matches that fill color. And I'll go 50%. Okay, so now, oh yeah, look at that. That works really well. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. I need that little notch back. Because look, this doesn't half lap with anything. That's a butt joint. These herringbones are butt joints. So what I'm going to do is 0.75, 0.75, that one there. And then I'm going to join these together with the unite. Yeah. And then it threw on an extra anchor point and get rid of that guy. Not that you have to. Is Russ here? Hello, Russ. Russ Clarity from Simply Wooden Creations. How are you, brother? I am making woodworking plans for my awesome computer desk I built. Took me 6 months to make. And I could not be happier. All right, so now that is actually what we want for these top ones. This is my torsion box I'm making for this desk, Russ. So this is a top-down view. These are 3/4 inch pieces of plywood. And you can see where they overlap. And where they overlap, they're going to have this half lap part to it. Yeah. That would make sense. And then see these, this would be these green members here. Make that the same. Yeah, Russ, I'm trying to do nice formal woodworking plans I can distribute with my YouTube video. And my YouTube video is 100% done. It's just sitting in my channel on YouTube, unlisted, and I'm waiting for me to build the Instructable and an Imager post that I can post to Reddit. And hopefully unleash all of them at the same time and get a ton of traffic. What is this? Do what that is. Those words? Oh, look at that. Put a URL in here for some reason. Goodbye, URL. All right. And this torsion box, these are 9 inches on center. except this one is 9 1/4 on center. And I tripled them up here because that's where the leg is going to go. And the other leg goes here under this triple version. So the one leg is literally on the very, very end. And then this leg is about a foot over from the end to give me more leg room, because looking down at this top-down view of the desk, this is where my computer monitor will go. And I'm actually sitting at this desk now, and it is so wonderful. Oh, it is absolutely gorgeous. This desk and functional. You should see this. I'm going to post an Instagram. I did an animated video of how this all comes together, and I'm really happy with it. So I need, what, 9 of these? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of these bad boys. 2. Oh, this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. I think it would be nice to give people a cut list and a visual of all of these things. And then also, once the woodworker gets going, they can set their machine up and they can cut these all at the same time. So they'll do these 11 here, and then I got to do the same for that side. And this was my cut list for the desk. See all these little tiny pieces? These were these guys over here. And oh my goodness, I was a cutting machine, cutting all these little guys out. And then these were the center piece. That was, let me see, this corner piece. Yeah, look at that. That was not easy. And I'm really going to have to figure this out, because, you know, you want this to be a certain distance, and that has to be the same distance as the desk, because this is where the desk butts up against it. So then this distance from here to here, like this way, it's all arbitrary. It's 17.1525. How am I supposed to list that in imperial? Or even metric, for that matter. It's, you know, so I have a look of fractions to decimals. So it's what now? Let's see. 0.1525. 0.152. So it's almost, it's less than a 64th. Oh. Yeah, so cut your wood, you know, 1 inch, what would that be? 1 inch, or 1 foot, 5 and 1/64 inch, but not quite 1/64 inch. Oh man. I guess I'm just gonna have to say, you're gonna have to just finagle some stuff here. Just kind of sneak up on it, table saw or whatnot. So that will be a challenge. All right, so and that's the that's how I cut the board down, the whole sheet. I did that, and here's another representation. Oh, and this is fun too. When I went to build this, this was a little off, because all of these measurements, they start right here. So when I put little pencil marks on this the whole way down, and it wasn't lining up. I had the wrong amount of space here, and I'm like, it should be the same as this space here. That's how I had figured it, but that's what it was. This, I had just, I don't know, I guess in Illustrator, instead of taking this here where I wanted it, I put it there. Man, brutal. Brutal. All right, so let's start preparing a document here. I'm going to go with a new document. I want this to be letter size, so 8.5 by 11, which is 612 by 792 points. Hit that. There we go. And then I'm going to place a piece of art, and I have my logo here. Place that in. Boom. And let's shrink him up. Let's say 10% size. Really skinny minis. And look, that's a piece of placed art. That's not embedded. We don't like non-embedded art in the Awesome Wood Things shop. So let's get out the links. There's the links panel, and then embed. Boom. There. Now I'm no longer dependent on that ping file being in the exact same location every time I open this Illustrator file. It's completely embedded. So let's find the center of the dock. I will just draw a rectangle. It snaps to the pasteboard. Now I get my center dot. Command R are the rulers. Drag a ruler out. Boom. Drag a ruler out and flip it. Flip it with the Option key. Where are you? Nope. Damn it. It's not getting sticky there. Oh, I'm going to just do this one. There we go. Got rid of the other one. All right, so now let me get rid of this. So now that's dead center. Let's get the, oh, that doesn't have a center point, does it? No, probably not. Let's make a center. Then grab it by its center point and snap it to the center and delete the white. And then whoever wants to put something completely at the top of a page, that's just madness. So I will Command Shift M and do 0.5 inches. Oh, nice. Back to points. 0.5 IN tab. There you go, 36 points. Okay, so I'll start there. Let's put my channel name. Awesome Wood Thing. Select all. Command Shift C for centered. Command Shift L for left justify. Command Shift R for right justify. And Command Shift C for center justify. All right. I'm just trying to just build this out. Let's put some, let's get a good footer going here. Website. Let's bring this 1/2 inch. Snap it there. Snap it here. Command Shift M. Negative 0.5. Negative 0.5. I said it, didn't type it. Inches. Tab. All right, so now that's a 1/2 inch from the bottom. Technically, the descender is encroaching in that 1/2 inch, but hey, I like to live dangerously. Do my YouTube channel, which is Awesome Wood Things 1. I know, they made me throw that digit on it. And then do Facebook, which is things. Oh, you know what? I gotta get rid of the spaces because that's YouTube. All right, I'll drop in the logos for YouTube, a website, and then Facebook. I should do Instagram too. My Instagram's personal Instagram. Should I get a Instagram that's just woodworking? So oh, it's messing up my footer. Where do I put the Instagram on? Oh, wow. Maybe we'll do, yeah, that's a good idea. Do it like that. So the website can take prominence and go up like that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'm just trying to kind of make a template. So when I download these as a PDF, it'll look nice. Let me save this before I go too far. And find class stuff here. I'll go desk. Plan. There we go. And then I can take my desk. Which one was I working on? That one, yeah. I can take these pieces. Paste them in here. Now watch, this is going to be huge. Because remember, I was working in real sizes. So that's what a piece of paper looks like compared to these sizes. And now let's choose a scale. How much I would have to scale this? 5%? Yeah, that's not bad. 5% scale, wow. So now if I print that on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, it's gonna be that big. That's probably good enough because I'll have to put one here and put the other desk there. But yep, that's probably about the perfect size. So 5% scale is what I'm going to do. And I'll make one of these a cut list, and I'll make one the diagram, and I'll do, I'm not sure what else I'll do. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go. Let me save this. So that's the process. I'm going to go back to my one-to-one document and make those members 9 inches on center and about almost 5 inches apart. So there'll be little rectangles. It will still be super strong. And then I have to figure out if I can still get away with one single sheet of plywood, because I like that about the bill. Because plywood's expensive. What is it? $56 or $65 for one sheet of 3/4 inch. And I bought the birch. Well, whatever Home Depot has. Is it Baltic birch? I bought the best stuff that they had. I think there's slightly nicer quality out there than Home Depot, but it was the best one. Now I did have to buy 2 sheets of hardboard, 2 sheets of 3/4 inch, and then the laminate. See, this is the problem. The laminate, I had to buy 3 sheets because when I did the corner, the rectangle piece or the triangle piece, I could just cut 2 strips of hardboard for the back and 2 strips of plywood, and it didn't matter because it was going to be covered up by the laminate. But the laminate, like I couldn't, there was not enough for that triangle piece in the whole thing, so I couldn't, I had to buy. Russ says no Baltic birch at Home Depot. Well, whatever it was the what's the most expensive stuff they have there. That's why I bought one sheet of it. And then my friend sold me the walnut, the solid walnut, and I got that on the cheap, man. And walnut is expensive. You buy solid walnut, isn't like a 4-foot board, 10 inch by 4-foot. Isn't that like $60? Pure Bond. Okay. Pure Bond. I guess I bought Pure Bond plywood. I wanted the best because I didn't want any voids. And I knew I would work on the desk literally the rest of my life. This is going to last the rest of my life. All right, folks. It's not quite at the top of the hour. I do have to wrap up just a bit early. So thank you for playing along with me. Again, I have learnadobenow.com. I am on Patreon. And for Awesome with Things, go to Patreon/Awesome with Things. That supports both the Adobe and my wood shop. And keep an eye out for my project video. I'm so excited. And then once that project video releases, I have all kinds of stuff lined up. You will see regular posts from me after this desk video comes out. So thank you, Dave. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone else who was lurking. A couple lurkers, that's all good. And we shall see you next week. Line art rules, JPEG rules. Thanks, folks.